looks green, man. Fuck it, we'll see what happens, man. I mean, thank God it wasn't live. Just flapping about. Do you know what I mean? It's like that out of the way so I can actually see my face, man.
Aye.
But right, so we're having a discussion here around about actually opening up about your emotions.
Yes.
What's the biggest thing you see when someone comes in to work with you one-to-one? What's the first struggle?
I'm fine.
Aye.
I'm
And then
alright.
and you just don't open
I'm
up for that.
I'm good. It's, do you know, it's
Does that annoy you?
it's not that it annoys me. You know, it's one of the ones where would I have said that
Yeah.
before I knew more about my emotions and I listened to myself? Probably, aye. There's sometimes this kind of reservedness from people that if I was to ask you how are you, maybe you think I'm not actually interested in how you actually feel, so you'll just say I am alright.
Do you think that's like? Do you not think that's a kind of culture thing? Because like in Britain as a whole, it's natural to just go, "What's happening? How are you?" Like, because that's how I see if I walk past somebody in the street, "What's happening? How are you?" And like, it is a quick, "Oh, I'm fine," and then on you go.
Aye.
Do
The
you know
other
what I
one
mean?
is like not bad.
Aye, yeah.
You're not
What
bad.
does that mean?
You're not
Do you know what I
saying
mean?
good,
Uh-huh.
but you're saying not bad.
Aye,
So it's
yeah.
like, so where are we? So there's like I've got to be thinking, and it's that emotions motivate action. So if like joy and happiness motivates you to join in, take part, share. You know, guilt can motivate you to repair what you've done, but it can also motivate you to hide away,
100%.
keep things a secret. Anger can motivate you to attack and lash out, but it can also make you stand up for yourself. Like, so it's getting in touch with what are you actually feeling.
And I think that can also kind of fall into a fact of like being proactive about your emotions instead of reactive about your emotions.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? It's like I'm sitting listening back to the Chimp Paradox again, fucking addicted to it. If you've not watched it, have you ever read the Chimp Paradox?
Peter's got the book.
Oh, brilliant, absolute 10 out of 10, right? But it basically talks about how like you've got like three brains, like human brain, chimp brain, and computer brain. Do you know what I mean? But see when you're getting like all these kind of like reactive emotions and that stuff, that's like the chimp brain coming out.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? It's like when you pure, I don't know, you miss the train and you go off your nut and you pure catastrophize it, but there's one coming in 20 minutes.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? And you're like, right, okay, calm down and that kind of stuff. And I think a lot of people see because they just kind of let their chimp brain take over all the time. It's like they're actually not in touch with how they actually feel because they're just pure reactive.
And I think that comes down a lot of expectation as well. If you have an expectation of yourself, using that what you just said, if you had to get on that train at say 9 o'clock to be where you had to be for 9:45 and you missed that train, you're then sitting with the feelings of maybe I've let myself down, I'm going to be late, I'm letting somebody else down, and then that you're ruminating the thoughts. And then you get on your train, you get on with your day, and then you forget.
You move on so fast, isn't it?
You move on so fast from that maybe distressing event or situation that you've maybe not even been aware of it. That's something that so many people don't consider. If you are in a distressing situation, right, for example, missing the train, right, and you are somebody who maybe has a touch of perfectionism or doesn't like to let people down or likes to be late, has tight boundaries like that, you go through all these emotions and unhelpful thoughts in that maybe 10-20 minute period, then you get on with your day and you don't actually pay attention to how that made you feel.
Aye, because you've moved on for it. It's a small, minute thing, man. And I think, like, see, to kind of touch on that, especially, like, obviously talking about emotions, but how people just say, oh, I'm fine. Do you know what I mean? It's like, see when, like, you should, like, actually dive into your emotions, you don't. And then see when you probably shouldn't react in a certain way and you shouldn't, like, go that deep into your emotions, like when you miss a train and that stuff. Like, you do, because you're actually not in control of your emotions as such. Does that make sense?
I think there's this, like, when you say, like, it's a small thing that's happened that's maybe not that big a deal to some, but if these wee small things happen, so what happens is we'll use like somebody missing the train, getting on the next train, and they go, because it's the next train they've got, the queue's too long on the way out, so then that's the next thing to go wrong, and I'm going to be late, and it all surfaces.
And it's a domino effect onto it, man, do you know what I mean?
Just keeps going.
It's something that I've kind of noticed as well, man, because like we can like fall into play like what you've just said there, like basically like, how do I word this, man, like something can happen to me that might not matter to you.
Yep.
But it's still massive to me.
Of course.
It was like, I remember like one of my mates said it to me once, and like it was something stupid. It was like their mom never gave them their pocket money, and I had going on in my house, whatever I had going on, that kind of stuff, right? And my mate was like, I don't know why I'm getting stressed out of this. You've got that going on in the house, and I'm like, mate, but like my problems to you don't mean anything.
Yeah.
It's your problem. So you're not getting a fiver off your mom is a lot bigger than what's happening in my house to me.
Yeah.
Because obviously it's your
That's
problem.
your stuff.
And I think a lot of people kind of like downgrade stuff. It's like, but it's not that big a deal. I'm like, but to you it's a big deal. So like appreciate it in that sense, and actually just get in touch with how you feel. Stop saying I'm fine.
Yeah. It's about like owning it.
Definitely.
You know,
definitely.
and all we do is compare ourselves in this society to other people, and you might go through something to you that's horrific, and then Jimmy down the block might go through something that's even worse that you've been through, and all of a sudden you're going to take a step back and think, well, what I've been through isn't as big a deal as that, when that's your stuff.
I remember I went through something like that, but I actually kind of noticed this. and it was when I was in the Priory, when I was about 20, and they done like this kind of, so like, I don't know if anyone knows what the Priory is, it's like quite an intense, like, it's an intense place, right?
Yeah.
And we were in there, right, and it was like a big circle, just me and different other guys and that kind of stuff, and we were all kind of sharing our
Was it
stories.
group
And
work?
it was a
Yeah.
Wednesday night, they always done it on a Wednesday night, like 6 o'clock, and you went in, and you just kind of like shared your stories, man. You were sitting there with a coffee, a tea, or whatever it was, and all that kind of stuff. And basically, like, they were talking about, like, I was sharing my story, and a guy across from me, obviously I can't say what it was, right, but he shared the story, and I was like, oh, fuck me, like, that's hardcore. And I felt that in myself. I was going, my problem's nothing.
Yep.
And I kind of like put it away for it, wait to bed for a wee bit, and it did help me out at that time. But then it all crept back up again 2 years later. I crept up a couple of years later again, and I hadn't actually dealt with it. Yep. And then I dealt with it when I went into CBT again last year. Do you know what I mean? And it was just kind of when we were saying that, it pure brought back that kind of core memory with that, and I was like, fuck, just because I heard someone else's situation, which was fucking mental, right? It was, man. It was quite like upsetting, really, really upsetting. But it made me go, right, okay, maybe I'm not in such a bad spot.
Okay.
But I never actually dealt with the situation.
Yeah.
I just had like a wee bit of relief.
It's that temporary relief.
Temporary relief, aye.
Temporary relief. If you think of avoidance, I typically sometimes relate the two, not always, but if you get anxious, right, for example, in social situations, maybe it's public speaking, right, and you wake up, right, and you're not well, and you're like, wait, I can get out of that today.
Yeah.
You feel great. You've survived that. You've not had to do that. Your anxiety is like, yes, go you, but it's only temporary.
Yeah,
it's
temporary
relief.
So true that with that as well, because like I've done it in the past, man. So obviously I've put myself into some like very like scary but good situations. Like obviously I put myself out there and that kind of stuff, man, by going to like events, like some of the rooms I go into, like the people I'm sitting next to, I'm like, what do you do for a living, mate? That's fucking mental. And all that kind of stuff, and it's pure cool. And like I love that situation about 3 years ago. I used to hate it.
Yep.
And I remember like going to one of my first events, man, with Christian and that. I was going down to an event and in my head I was like, I could just say I'm out. I could just get away with it. And I thought about it, I was like, oh, I might do this, man. I might just say I'm out and that stuff. But then again, like I would have like shouted at myself later on for going, like, you've backed out in that. And I think a lot of like, the guys inside a like full reset can take note of this as well, because like they'll come down to events and I know some of them don't know exactly who I'm talking to, right? Can't prove if it's fact or fiction, right? But a lot of them will like text me on the day of an event going, something's came up, mate. And I'm like, there's nothing's came up. You're just nervous, which is cool. But again, like,
but just own that.
Yeah, anxiety's good. It's like I think in all, man, like a lot of us can kind of get in this the position where we're like, no, anxiety's bad. Like, anxiety's not bad. Do you know what I mean? It's a natural human
if you didn't
emotion.
have anxiety, then we'd be numb.
Yeah, exactly.
We'd be numb. If you didn't have anxiety, then we wouldn't have joy and achievement, and you know,
wouldn't have growth.
You'd have nothing.
Do you know what I mean?
You know, anxiety's instilled in us from probably seeing that in one of my posts, like the caveman days.
Exactly. It's like, Christ, you wouldn't be sitting here recording this video. Do you know what I mean? Remember the first one we done?
Exactly.
Even for myself, I felt like I done a reel about it. Like it took me 8 hours to do my first ever reel. Hilarious, man. George was about bartering, man. That was fucking mental, man. Do you know what I mean, man? But no, as well, man. So actually, like, I think as well, what you need to do is just lean into anxiety.
Yep.
I get there's a difference between like crippling anxiety and that kind of stuff. Like, there's a massive difference. That's we'll talk about it another time, right? But see if something just makes you nervous, but you know it's for a good cause, do it. Even if you're unsure if it's for a good cause, do it. See what happens.
I think you're only going to need to find evidence for somewhere.
Yeah.
And I think that's where anxiety, people get caught up in it now. Obviously, like you say, there's generalised anxiety, there's social anxiety, there's panic disorder, there's loads of different umbrellas that come under it. And if people listen to what their anxiety is telling them, they're letting it win.
Exactly. I know.
Because
again, like you can still, like you're in control as much as you feel that you're not in control. You always are in control. Like when I think back to some of the decisions I made the decisions.
The problem is with anxiety, when we let the anxiety win, our body and our nervous system responds in a survival state.
Because we're fight or flight. We've done that since we were back in the cavemen, do you know what I mean? That's
so if we avoid something because of anxiety, our body's telling us we've done the right thing.
Good boy.
Well done. And that's true. And then it's not until later on when you're like, oh, I wish I'd done that. I wish I'd done this. I should have. And then that's when the unhelpful thinking comes in. You know, you might be seeing my post last week, like I get really bad eczema on my eyes.
Yes.
And for me that weekend there was a huge behavioural experiment on myself. You know, I'm never going to ask people to do things that I'm not prepared to do.
That's powerful, man.
And I admittedly for the past year when my eyes have flared up, I've cancelled things. I've not went to things due to fear of judgment. Okay, yeah, there's pain there. There is pain there and it is uncomfortable, but it was more so due to fear of judgment.
I get staring, like, I get it completely.
Yeah, and that weekend there, I didn't cancel.
Dynamite, man. It's good just having that moment when you go, that's growth.
Not doing
to me, that's major growth.
100%.
I mean? Like, we were actually just discussing this before we kind of came on, started recording this video and that kind of stuff. and we were just talking about like just generally like what kind of progress you'll see like through coaching, that kind of stuff, man. And it's like so many people have a big vary of like progress, but it can be so hooked up on like a before and after picture.
Yep.
You don't get me wrong, changing your physique is like bread and
Great.
butter for coaching, right? It just is, right? But it's why once man, there's everything else around it. It's like see like just going for that there. Yeah, like being like going ahead of it, something one of your insecurities, like tackling that head on, man, feeling confident in yourself.
Yep.
That's a transformation in my opinion.
Improving
As
your
well, man.
self-esteem.
Exactly, man. Like actually believing in yourself, man, as well, man. And like I think as well, what a lot of people really struggle with, and it's something that takes time, right? And it's a lonely journey, is actually sticking to your word. So if you say you're going to do something, do it. But unfortunately, you're going to be around people that are going to antagonise you to do the other thing. Do you know what I mean?
Think something I've really leaned into recently is not telling people I'm going to do things and just doing them. Like that, like putting myself on social media. That wasn't
brilliant, man.
That was just something that I told myself yesterday. I was going to do that. I told that to myself. I didn't go tell A, B, and C. Whereas I think maybe years ago, if I was going to do something,
you would need that accountability.
I'd tell everyone. I'd tell everybody I was going to do it, and then if I didn't do it, I had let people down, and it was this and it was that. So telling myself I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do it, and it's fine. It's fine.
But then again, that just comes for that self belief in yourself, and it's just knocking that first domino down, man. So I think like again, like the best way you can summarise like confidence, in my opinion, and self belief. Do what you said you're going to do.
Yep.
So like, see if you tell yourself you're going to do it, fucking do it. Like fall through with it. Because people ask me that and it's like, well, actually, Jane asked me was like, how do you get confident? And I think they expect a big, massive spew, and I'm like, do what you said you're going to do.
I think obviously in
Black
a nutshell,
like that is it in a nutshell. Obviously,
in a nutshell, but
you can break it down. Obviously, right? Obviously, but again, if you've got someone who's just like
that's you coming from your perspective and me sitting here like, Kieran.
There's actual science behind this. And I'm like, just do what you said you're going to do. But that was like literally just like staying to your word, and you will feel confident or more confident. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, you've got different things to tackle, like certain insecurities and that stuff, man. Do you know what I mean?
I think this is the thing, because when people look at confidence, right? If you were to look at the most confident person in the world, is your goal to get there, or what would you be happy with?
Well, that's it.
You know, if you rate your confidence at a 2 out of 10,
being able to go to the pub,
would you be happy with a 4 out of 10?
Exactly.
You know, is that for you? That's progress. Some people think when they set these goals to be more confident or to, I don't know, reduce some social anxiety or set different boundaries, that they need to be 10 out of 10 at that thing. And it's like, well, no, if you see yourself now at 3 out of 10, what are you happy with?
Exactly, it's the small increments. Do you know what I mean? It's like, what do you actually perceive as success?
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? A lot of people don't like, see if you ask people, like, what does success look like? Instantly like, money. I'm like, do you value money that much?
Yeah.
I get money brings you happiness. I get it, right? I get it, right? But as well, people just say, that's what success looks like to me. And I'm like, but a lot of people like will say they just want a lot of money, man, and they'll work their arse off for it, and they'll end up working 14 hours a day.
Yeah.
And they're miserable. Do you know what I mean? I'm like,
and a dead end job.
You need to find out exactly what success is. Exactly.
Because there's some people who success to them might not be working. It might not be working. Exactly. It might be being a stay-at-home parent. To them, that might be success. Like I know for me, being successful means that I want to have my career, but I also want to be a present parent.
Exactly, man.
I don't want to work 40 hours a week.
No, I'm the same, man. For me, one of my success metrics is time freedom.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like just thinking, like I can not do what I want from day to day. There's obviously got to be structure with the business and that. But it's like if I need to move something about, I can do it. Yeah. If I want to get a coffee with my mom, I can do it. Yep. Do you know what I mean? Which is just a 10 out of 10, man. Do you know what I mean?
But success for some people might be working 60 hours a week. Might be, and
that's fine.
Everybody's individual.
But you need to find out what success actually is, isn't it?
For you, yeah.
Definitely. Cheers to that one, man. We'll call that that. I think that was a good 10 minute.
I think so, aye.